A wild herb has grown on the hillsides of the Levant for thousands of years, its fragrance carried on dry mountain winds. Ethnobotanical research has documented this plant's continuous role in human culture across 4,000 years, a record longer than most civilizations have survived. Yet today, harvesting it from the wild is a criminal offense in Israel and several neighboring countries. And the product sold under its name in markets across the world often contains an entirely different species. The substitution was not accidental, it was economic. The original plant resisted domestication and rejected industrial farming methods. So the market replaced it, quietly, completely, without formal announcement. Meanwhile, this plant appeared in the oldest texts humanity has preserved. It was referenced in the book of Exodus, in the Psalms, and in the Gospel of John. Its roots run deeper than most modern nations. The plant is Origanum Syriacum, known across the Arab world as za'atar, and identified by many biblical scholars as the ezov of ancient Hebrew scripture. If preserving forgotten botanical knowledge like this matters to you, subscribing to this channel helps keep that record alive. The Hebrew word ezov appears in the Bible more than 10 times. In Exodus 12, it is the plant used to apply the blood of the Passover lamb to doorposts. In Psalms 51, the poet cries, "Purify me with ezov, and I will be clean." In the Gospel of John, a sponge soaked in vinegar is raised to Christ on a branch of this same plant. For centuries, biblical translators defaulted to hyssop, assuming the plant was Hyssopus officinalis, a European species. But Hyssopus officinalis does not grow naturally in the Levant. Its climate requirements do not match the region. It was never part of that landscape. This created a quiet botanical paradox at the center of one of history's most widely read texts. Botanist A. Fleischer addressed much of this debate in a landmark 1988 paper published in Economic Botany. That study concluded that Origanum Syriacum matches the biblical descriptions in habitat, growth structure, and geographic range. It grows in precisely the landscapes where these events were recorded. Its stems are thick and brushy enough to hold a soaked sponge. The Bible did not reference a European herb. It referenced a Levantine one. Za'atar is both a plant and a product, and this dual identity created centuries of confusion. In traditional Levantine culture, the word za'atar referred specifically to Origanum Syriacum. As trade routes expanded, merchants began applying the same name to cheaper, more available alternatives. Thyme, common oregano, savory, all were sold under the za'atar label. A 1992 study by Putievsky, Ravid, and Dudai documented significant variation in what was commercially sold as za'atar across Mediterranean markets. The blends sold in European and North American stores today rarely contain the authentic species. The original plant was economically inconvenient. It demanded rocky, poor soil. It resisted transplantation to cultivated fields. Its essential oil concentration was too potent for standardized flavoring applications. Uniformity won, complexity lost. The label remained on the jar. The contents changed entirely. Legally, this is not straightforward fraud. Herb labeling standards in most international markets remain inconsistent. But for those who know the original plant's aromatic profile, the substitution is unmistakable. In the 1970s, Israel formally classified Origanum Syriacum as a protected wild species under national nature conservation legislation. Harvesting it from the wild became a criminal offense. Fines were established. Confiscations followed in rural markets. The legal protection was a response to a real ecological crisis. Over-harvesting had reduced wild populations dramatically. For generations, Bedouin communities and farming families had collected wild za'atar as part of daily life. The harvest was not industrial. It was cultural. Small baskets, family outings, seasonal rhythm. When the law arrived, it criminalized practices woven into daily existence across entire communities. Enforcement became a source of persistent tension in the West Bank and northern Israel. Harvesters argued they were maintaining a living tradition. Authorities argued they were accelerating ecological collapse. Both positions carried weight. The plant had genuinely declined. The tradition was genuinely ancient. Monoculture agriculture had displaced the hillside ecosystems where za'atar once thrived without intervention. The protection law preserved what remained. It could not restore what had already disappeared. Origanum Syriacum is a perennial subshrub native to the eastern Mediterranean basin. It belongs to the Lamiaceae family, the same family as mint, basil, and rosemary. The plant grows between 20 and 80 centimeters tall, forming woody-based clumps on rocky slopes. Its leaves are small, oval, and densely covered in fine hairs, a structure that traps and concentrates volatile aromatic compounds. In summer, clusters of small white or pale pink flowers appear along the upper stems. These flowers attract pollinators across arid hillsides of Lebanon, Jordan, Syria, and the Palestinian territories. The plant is adapted to drought. It thrives in thin, alkaline, rocky soil that cultivated crops cannot use. This ecological niche is precisely why it persisted in the wild long after more delicate native species disappeared. The primary volatile compounds in Origanum Syriacum are carvacrol and thymol. These same compounds define the aroma of oregano and thyme, but in significantly higher concentrations in the wild species. Research on wild populations has recorded essential oil content reaching 3 to 6% of dry leaf weight. Standard cultivated oregano typically contains less than 1%. The chemistry of this plant explains why no commercial substitute fully replicates its aromatic profile. Words struggle to fully capture what an encounter with authentic za'atar represents. It is sharper than oregano, more resinous than thyme, more layered than any single herb comparison allows. Ottoman-era culinary records describe za'atar as the defining flavor of mountain cooking across the Levant. Flatbread dipped in olive oil and fresh za'atar was the daily breakfast of entire generations. The specific character of the flavor came not from spice blends, but from the living plant, fresh or recently dried. Levantine culinary tradition built entire flavor identities around the seasonal wild harvest of Origanum Syriacum. The spring harvest, when aromatic compound concentration peaks, was historically the most prized. Dried leaves retained enough potency to carry their character through winter storage. The moment of peak freshness, just before flowering, produced what Arab culinary tradition called the breath of the mountain. Commercial za'atar blends approximate this with sumac, sesame, and dried thyme. The approximation reaches global markets. The original remains nearly impossible to source outside local Levantine producers. When a flavor disappears from common experience, it takes a part of cultural memory with it. The decline of wild Origanum Syriacum was not caused by a single event. It was the accumulated result of multiple pressures applied across decades. Agricultural expansion across the Levant gradually removed the rocky hillside habitats where the plant evolved. Urban development consumed limestone terraces across Lebanon and northern Israel through the 20th century. Shifting rainfall patterns reduced available moisture in the plant's native range. And overharvesting, once considered sustainable at traditional scales, eventually exceeded the plant's regeneration capacity. Studies from Lebanese and Israeli research institutions documented significant population decline across monitored sites through the 1990s and early 2000s. Growing commercial demand for za'atar products amplified pressure on wild populations through the late 20th century. Demand rose, Legal cultivation infrastructure did not expand fast enough to absorb it. The gap was filled by continued wild harvest, legal or otherwise. Conservation organizations in Lebanon and Jordan have since established protected zones to allow population recovery. Cultivation projects in the West Bank have attempted to create legal, sustainable alternatives to wild harvesting. The plant is adaptable. It responds to protection. Recovery has been documented in guarded areas. But recovery requires time that market demand rarely allows. Origanum syriacum is not extinct, but its wild populations across much of the Levant remain fragile. The name za'atar still appears on millions of jars, spice blends, and restaurant menus worldwide. Behind that name, a botanical legacy stretches back through scripture, ancient trade, and mountain culture. The plant referenced in Exodus, invoked in Psalms, present at ancient walls. It still grows. On rocky hillsides in Lebanon and Jordan, protected zones shelter surviving populations. In the West Bank, licensed farming families cultivate documented plots. In research collections and botanical gardens, seed stocks preserve its genetic heritage. The knowledge of what the real plant looks like, smells like, and represents grows more fragile each year. It survives in the memory of older generations who gathered it before the laws changed. It survives in ethnobotanical records compiled before populations collapsed. Botanical history is not a separate discipline from human history. It is the same record. The za'atar story continues, but the hillsides that hold it are running out of time.